Well, I'm here with the Provost of the University of Wisconsin-Parkside, Matt Cecil, and we are talking about AI fluency, and we're going to jump right into it. All right, so someone clicking on this that knows nothing about Parkside or us or anything, what would you say to them that would make it worth their time to listen to this conversation?
Yeah, I think what we've been thinking about around AI is applicable to almost any organization. The reality of this is that we have pockets of individuals who are early adopters who have jumped on this and see opportunity for themselves in AI. But we also have kind of a cultural problem more than a technical problem, and that is that nobody's quite sure how to get started. And the attitudes range from everything from, I don't know how to get started to this is a crime to use this technology. And what we really need, I think, on our campus and in other organizations is kind of an organizing idea around AI to allow people to do what they would normally do, which is try to figure out how to incorporate a useful tool into their work in ways that are in keeping with the values of the organization. So when we talk about AI fluency, it's really about finding a way to get our institution or our organization towards moving in a direction of applying this technology in ways that make sense, rather than fearing it because of the ways that it's changing what we do in our work.
So you've set a pretty ambitious goal for UW-Parkside to be AI fluent. You used that term before, and by 2028?
Yes.
Is that right? What was the aha moment that you might have alluded to it just a minute ago, but what was that?
I think the aha moment for me was really at a Board of Regents meeting a couple of months ago, where we saw some presentations on AI. We've had some more since, but we saw some initial presentations on AI, and everybody thought, well, wow, that's amazing. And I was thinking, okay, so now how do we bring that sort of level of innovation to our campus? How do we get people comfortable with that idea of disciplined experimentation so that they can do that sort of thing at the Parkside campus? And walking away from that, the thinking was, well, I don't really want anyone to think that that's the only way you do AI. It just happens that the host campus at that meeting did a really, really great virtual reality presentation around AI and using AI to teach teachers how to do their work. And it was great. But there are so many different ways to apply AI. And I was, one of the things I walked away concerned was that we need again, this organizing idea so that we can all think about how our different ways of working can benefit from AI technology or not. And I think that's a key part when we define AI fluency. We talk about the discernment. When do you use it and when do you not use it? We talk about understanding and sort of with clear eyes leaning in and understanding what the implications of this technology are, whether they're social, cultural, environmental. We don't want to shy away from that conversation. We want that to be part of our AI fluency conversation on this campus. And then third, and this in many ways is the most important one, recognizing and agreeing that the human in the loop is the final arbiter of truth or fact when it comes to AI use. And really that starts to get into our values as a university and the kinds of things that we teach on a campus like this.
Yeah, so something that I've appreciated about you as you've talked about this is defining terms. And you've done that so far, but I really would love to hear you extrapolate out a little bit more about fluency. So when you think about fluency, what's in your mind and how does that tie into the overall goal here?
Yeah, it's important to really define these things. So when I think about fluency, I think about let me use this example. We don't want our students to just use the machine. We want them to interrogate the machine. We want them to bring to bear all that they've learned in their classes to make AI a more useful and effective tool when they get out into the workforce. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you should, next time you sit down with an AI tool and it gives you some definitive answer on something, ask it, are you sure? And what you're going to get is AI is going to do a 180 and give you a completely different answer because it's not an oracle, it's a people pleaser. And we need everyone to understand that in order to use AI effectively, you need to bring those things that we teach on a campus like this to bear on those responses. So the key idea for us is that what we do isn't replaced by AI. AI requires the things that we teach on a university campus. If you're not a critical thinker, if you don't understand literacy, if you're not good at math, and if you don't understand scientific inquiry, you're not going to do well with AI.
That's great. So thinking out a ways, what does the roadmap look like? Ideally, of course, best laid plans and all of that. But when you think of the next 2 years or 30 months leading up to 2028 and maybe even beyond, what does that look like for you?
So we're going to attack this the way we attack other problems on a campus. So we're going to lean into the fact that any university campus is full of really smart people who can figure out answers to problems. And we're going to bring people together like we always have. We transformed our university last year, changed our structures dramatically. We did that by engaging people in a conversation. It started with a faculty and staff and student work group. That's how we're going to start here. We're going to ask that group to kind of define the terms a little more clearly for us. We're going to ask them to define how that intersects with academic freedom, for example, and we're going to ask them to give us a sense of where we need policy and procedure to help us do this right. So we'll start with that. We'll move on to the idea of creating professional development for faculty, staff, and students that can help them, whether that's in the curriculum for students or if it's co-curricular recommendations that we make for training. We're going to try to put out as many options as we can so people can start to learn this idea of literacy. And again, understanding that what we do on a campus like this becomes even more important in an AI-engaged world.
One of your proposals, if I get it right, involves labeling courses with very specific AI terms, AI friendly or no AI zones. How do you envision that? Why those terms? And how does that protect academic freedom but also hit the mark on this AI fluency thing?
Sure. I mean, the way people immediately think is when you start as an administrator, I start talking about AI fluency, they think, oh, they're going to make me use it all the time for everything. And the answer is, of course not, because we believe in academic freedom. We believe that faculty have the right to decide how their courses are taught, what's taught in their courses, and whether or not AI is a part of that. We need that academic freedom to be as good as we can be. The reality of it, I think, is that I want people to make informed choices about whether AI belongs in their class or not. I don't want sort of knee-jerk AI is a crime kind of choices, which sometimes we have. Now, people are still figuring this out, but they're starting from a position of definitely a position of skepticism, which is understandable. I was in the same place a few months ago when I started working with AI tools. We want that skepticism, but we don't want it to be the end of the conversation. Yeah. I would like, our faculty and instructional academic staff to sit down and learn a little bit about these tools and try to understand, if possible, if they might fit into their plans for their classes. I think there are ways that you can use some of these things. Now, that's great. If we can help our faculty and staff understand, that discernment issue, that's great. We have to then communicate it very clearly to students. Students need to understand when and where they're allowed and encouraged or not to use these. There are very good reasons to not allow AI in certain classes because there are foundational skills and knowledge that people need to learn, and AI can short circuit that process. But we want that to be an informed decision. We want people to think, maybe there's a way to use AI in a class, maybe not. Maybe the whole class is defined as a no AI zone. That's fine as long as it's an informed decision. Yeah. But it's our job to help people get there. We can't just say, well, good luck to you. AI is happening out there in the world. Knock yourselves out. Yep. We have to, again, put some organizational thought around this. How do we think about AI on our campus? And that's really where AI fluency comes in. And again, academic freedom is at the top of the list as far as things we want to protect as we do this work.
So rather than taking away control from the professors in the classroom, it seems to be that you're amplifying the things that are already here, but you're demystifying this tool that has connotations of lack of control and replacing of people. You said it before, I can't remember the term you used, but the humans are necessary in this process. We're not trying to replace people. Right. That, I think, would be comforting, and then you have to do it. So that's probably the hard part. It is. And I want to talk about that for a minute because I've heard you talk about strategic partnerships. As great of an idea as this could be, University of Wisconsin-Parkside is going to have limited resources. So talk about partnerships and how you see that coming to bear.
There's a couple of ways I see partnerships sort of intersecting with this. First of all, there are the partners that we're working with to bring AI fluency to our campus. And partners like Microsoft, of course, and then Ortify AI, which is a local AI company here, who are really helping inform our thinking about this and providing the tools, frankly, that we need to be able to do this. So that's one way we'd intersect with partners. Another way is, I think, our mission at a university like UW-Parkside is to provide higher education services to the region, but also to be a catalyst for economic development in the region. So how can we help bring applied AI, not just to our campus through Fluency, but to the region through services we might provide, for example, through our Parkside Works engagement center? How can we bring these ideas out into the businesses in the region? And I'm not just, we're surrounded by giants like Microsoft and Eli Lilly and Haribo and Uline and so on. But what about the insurance office down on Main Street? Can we help them to incorporate AI into what they do? I think we need to be, as we're learning to become more fluent on our campus and as we're developing graduates who have these skills that they take out into the world, we also need to be thinking very specifically about what literal services can we provide to local businesses to help them incorporate applied AI into what they're doing. So two ways that partnerships engage with this, and we have to follow both of those paths at the same time.
Something that came to mind before we move to the next point, I'm curious, how do you personally use it? Yeah. What does it look like in a daily life?
It's become a bigger and bigger part of what I do. It's just over the last since that Board of Regents meeting in December, I think it was, I have been intensely using AI in my day-to-day work. I've changed my whole workflow as a result of that. I'm a big note taker. I know you are too. So I take a lot of notes. I used to write them on a tablet, but because I wanted to be present and be able to, and the writing helped me remember. Now I use a little tablet with a keyboard because I can type them into a note-keeping service, and then AI can access them directly. It's like having a second brain where AI can go remind me of things. I can say, find the to-do list. I usually mark them with an asterisk in my notes. Find the to-do list out of my notes from the last week, and it'll generate that kind of thing. So it's simple stuff like that. But then I've also used it pretty extensively to evaluate things that I've written. So we do a lot of proposal writing. For example, we just had some system level proposals that we had to create. I wrote them and then used AI to do sort of a gap analysis based on the origin document that the system provided, and then the thing that I wrote. I said, find the gaps, and it does a great job of identifying places where you've sort of failed to support a point or points that you've missed entirely. So I use it all the time. In that way, but keep in mind, think about how I'm using it there. It's things that I have created, things that are based on my 30 years of knowledge in higher education and all the work that I've done, that I then ask the AI tool to try to evaluate in sort of a way that I could do, but it can do more quickly.
So thought partner
Yes.
versus thought leader. You're still the thought. So great. You're still the thought leader. This is a tool that's a thought partner and extracting an accountability to a certain degree of, this wasn't so good, this was good, try again.
Yes.
That's good.
It's been very insightful in some ways. So I really like it as a sort of day-to-day working tool for an administrator in higher education.
Yeah.
At the same time, I've used it to learn about AI and AI fluency myself. It's a great teaching and learning tool. You can ask an AI tool to ask you questions to assess your understanding of something. You can ask it to create podcasts for you, explaining a concept that you want. The possibilities are kind of endless.
Yeah.
And so I've just been trying to incorporate it in my day-to-day workflow, and it's been very effective for me.
So coming back to the human element, future outlook, and things like that, what would you say to a faculty member or student who is worried that AI will diminish the value of the traditional degree, the human touch in teaching? You've been alluding to that a little bit, but hit that head on.
I see it as quite the opposite. I think that, in fact, AI may be finally the argument that we can make for the value of this liberal arts education that we find so important. We've worked at it for years, and we've seen sort of a devaluation of those liberal arts core ideas, critical thinking. Again, they're critical thinking, mathematics, scientific inquiry, and literacy. We've seen a bit of a devaluing of that. And to me, AI brings that all front and center and says, no, actually, these things are even more important now than they ever were before. When you live in a world where there's this thought partner that can hallucinate, that can make things up, that's a people pleaser, that can flip on a question by you simply asking if it's sure or not. You need an educated person in that loop to make use of that tool. You take that educated person out and just accept whatever the AI gives you. What do you have? I mean, you've got this abstraction that doesn't address anything that we need to do as far as problem solving in our society. So, one of the interesting things that people always say is, well, AI is going to replace people. And we have another thought partner, a guy named Tony Orzechowski, who's been helping us with this. And his response to that is that AI won't replace people. People who know AI will replace people who don't.
Okay.
And I think that's largely true. We're going to see a change in the nature of work. But to me, this AI technology just makes the sort of liberal arts heart and soul of our university even more important in this conversation.
2028, it's August 2028, hypothetically. When you think about that, what does a typical day look like that's different maybe from now after this AI fluency thing is taken?
Well, I hope we've got a culture of sort of disciplined experimentation. I have great confidence in our people. We have amazing people working on all these universities of Wisconsin campuses who have the ability to take advantage of this tool to improve teaching and learning, to enhance research productivity, and to make us more efficient in our administrative processes. We just need to unleash them.
Yeah.
We need them to feel comfortable experimenting in this. And I'm just imagining, some of if you just start with sort of the low-hanging fruit on a campus, there are so many manual processes where we just, one by one slog through things to get them done. Theoretically, AI can help you with some of those things as well, but it can also help you with some, sort of partner visioning kind of stuff where you're trying to figure out where things are going. Let's use this tool in ways that help us see around the corner. And, what I'd like is, maybe not in fall of 2028, but soon thereafter, when graduates start coming out of our institution with a baseline of AI fluency, that employers can say, oh, well, I know I'm hiring somebody who gets it.
Sure.
That I don't need to start from scratch, or I don't need to retrain them. They're coming in bringing some ideas about how we might use this technology in our insurance office, or in our real estate office, or in our store, or whatever, that small business. That's really the sort of the magic of this thing. There are always going to be, the big businesses, the big businesses are always going to find the right kinds of people, or they'll train the right kinds of people. What we're really after is to make an impact in our region, and that extends far beyond the $13 billion enterprises down to these individual businesses. And we want our students to be leaders when they go out, no matter where they work.
What would be lost if this initiative isn't acted on?
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think one is our students won't be as marketable. A Parkside degree needs to stand for all the things it's always stood for. That idea of that, our students are these gritty survivors who get through it and push their way through and make it in the world.
I like to think of myself.
You are one of them.
I try.
That's true, though.
Yeah.
It's a unique population in the universities of Wisconsin because of the nature of our communities. So we want that. We want to keep that. But if we don't do this, students are not going to be as competitive in the job market. We're already seeing it. If you go to Indeed or one of those, 70% of the jobs ask for AI competency. So we need our students to be there. The other thing I think is lost is someone else is going to exert control on us. Yeah. If we don't pick this thing up and create an organizing idea and move and make things happen, somebody else is going to force us to do things. And those things may not be in the character of our institution, or it may not match the values that we think are important at a place like Parkside. So I want to be assertive, and I want us to move forward on this. I want us to think about that discernment question. I want us to be honest about the implications in our society. And lastly, I want us to all agree that the human in the loop matters, which is the argument for the liberal arts.
That's really good. What advice would you give to other regional universities watching this conversation? And maybe some, which is human.
Yep.
What advice would you give those folks?
I'd say this is really about trusting the people who work on your campus. Mm-hmm. The whole idea here is to equip people with the knowledge that they need to be brave and push forward with these tools, or to decide that they don't make sense for the area that they work in. If you're able to trust, if you can believe in everybody and believe in sort of their innovative and entrepreneurial spirits, I think this is a no-brainer. Wrapping some kind of idea around this, though, is essential. If you want to get past that sort of pockets of adoption notion, to everybody at least understanding that there is a certain sort of set of guardrails here. Mm-hmm. If you want to get to that, you have to put forth an idea, and that's really what's missing from the conversation on university campuses right now.
Matt, thank you so much for the time. This is a really great conversation. I'm looking forward to being a part on the front end of this AI fluency idea, so thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's been my pleasure.